Yo, check mic 1, 2, 3.
Aloha, aloha. What's up, David Samoa and Ruby down the house?
Hey, what up, Ru? What's good with you?
Oh, I'm just very grateful to be able to have this conversation with you all in the interwebs. It's cold as shit right now, and so I'm bundled up like an Eskimo right now. Shout out to all the real Eskimos out there. Shout out
Eh,
to you, Knowledge of Relationships. Shout out, Mr. Intellectual, Mr. Best, right? Shout out Kai Storm, my partner in crime on Motherhood Sex Marijuana, repping always.
yeah, definitely, man. Speak on it, Queen. Speak on it. You know. But yeah, man, I'm glad that Oh, actually, hold on, Ruby. I'm gonna have to actually mute real quick. Yeah, you got. I don't know. It sounds like that little feedback, but it's all good though. We're gonna alternate. But shout outs to the intellectual soapbox. He says y'all have an echo. Salutes to the family. Yeah, the echo is coming from Rules in, but as long as I keep my mic muted, then she'll be good though. So we'll play it by ear. But shout outs to Rue the Gypsy because she came up with the accountability topic, which we're gonna highlight right now. Accountability equals growth. All right. And we're gonna be having like a discussion about that because it's been a while since we talked about accountability, had like a really set topic. And I think the last time we had accountability topic was like maybe 2 years ago. Okay. Of course, at the time, it was the perspective from men, but it's always good to get like a woman's perspective of what it means to have like accountability and actually share some kind of, some type of things as well too. But anyways, I'm gonna let Rue take the floor for a second. You ready, Rue?
Fam, just give me a few minutes, okay?
Hey,
Just,
okay, no problem.
one
I
moment.
got you. Okay. Well, all right. Well, while Ruby's take care of some family things, you know what I mean? Motherhood life. Uh, I'll talk about it, right? Uh, so with accountability, man, you know, I feel like especially like in this YouTube space, it's so easy for us to really like put the accountability on other people. You know what I mean? It's so easy for us to say what this person has not been doing to holding him or herself like accountable. And what could that person do in order for that person to hold themselves like accountable? And so I'm looking at it like, man, like this. What are we doing that, what are we doing wrong for our own selves? Where we're so focused on other people that we fail to like look at our own selves to hold ourselves accountable. What are the things that we're doing that we're affecting with other people that maybe people will try to hint, or maybe people will blatantly say, like, hey man, like, I don't like this about your character. But because like, you're so like self-righteous, you thinking like you don't do anything wrong. So we get caught up into like focusing and putting the blame on other people and not really focusing like on our own personal lives. You know what I mean? And our own families from within. I know I did some things or probably said some things in the past to other people where, not once have I even held myself to a certain standard. But now it's like, okay, as time goes on, you start to learn from your mistakes. You start to learn that, hey, like, look, you know, I need to get my ish together in order for me to like, provide better for my family household, you know. And it could be anything. It could be something so small, that could easily be overlooked. Finance is definitely a big one that we don't really hold ourselves to a standard. But then, you know, again, we turn a blind eye for that and then look at someone else. But Rue was back though. Let me go ahead and pass it on to her. What up, Rue?
What's up, y'all? Thank you so much. It's just life. This is just real life happening, and the babies always have to, um, get what they need. And so thank you for allowing me that time. Um, I feel like I'm still learning about accountability and so I do believe in karma, the law of karma and all of that. Um and while I'm on this space of time where I'm enjoying a lot of time with myself and enjoying, accessible to my family how I want to be, I just can't help but realize some fucked up shit that I did to a previous relationship that I had. You know what I mean? And so um it's like there's no running from it. So long story short, I'll share my experience. Was I was in a relationship with somebody who I believe was going to be my husband, right? He we you know he's into music, he's into all of the things that I like, right? And we had some of those most amazing conversations, and I don't have to mention the rest, but you can imagine the rest was awesome as well, right? But it's like I feel that the way that I handled that situation was messed up. Like, because it wasn't on any like fidelity, because we're in an open polyamorous relationship. In fact, he was one of the people that I exercised ethical non-monogamy with. And I really enjoyed that space of safety while having him as a partner, I thought, but see, I feel like in that moment where I was mad and we like stopped talking, I was only in my feelings. I know that now. But there's a deeper principle that I just straight up I really fucked up on, honestly. And it's not that's between he and I. Like it's a very sacred space. And so I just feel like I tried to, oh well, and then I did tell Kai about this, and I put it on my platform as well on MSM, Motherhood Sex Marijuana, sharing very uh, openly that I feel like, oh, I tried to reach out, right? I tried to say, hey, can we talk, right? And he was not having it. Like he wasn't even trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like I really had to like look at myself as a person inside. And I had to dig deep. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not in a relationship now. Like he's not even like he's probably the most realist relationship. Like when he was out in like when he was sick, right? I like flew out, I've met, people in his family, like shit like that. Like I really wanted to marry this guy. And so I have to look back on myself and be like, all right, Rue, we're not ever repeating these things again. But first of all, prior to that, I have to realize that what I did was fucked up. And I tried to say sorry to him. He would not accept it. So I just want to say sorry right now, dude, because it's important. I apologize. And I'm so sorry that I put you through anything other than uplifting and honoring. I'll be right back.
No problem. Well, first and foremost, shout outs to you, Rue, for the emotional honesty and just being like transparent. You know, there's things that like as human beings, like we all make mistakes, and but I think the biggest mistake that anybody, even myself, can make is when we take certain individuals for granted, as opposed to taking advantage of the time that that we spend with them. And when I mean taking advantage, I mean cherishing every moment of that time and spend with it. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know to the extent, and I won't even ask you to go in like full like details, but from the learning experience that you received from this, like if you could probably even be vague with it, right? for the audience to listen, like in general, what would be like some of the things that will actually destroy relationships? Oh, let me go ahead and mute.
Is dishonesty. That was what I was guilty of. I was dishonest. I wasn't as honest as I should have been, especially given that he created or we created together a space of openness. Like, as I told you, we're in a polyam relationship. I know his wife. You know, I plan on sleeping with him and his wife. It was on some real shit. We plan on building. He is one of the most fascinating people that I've ever met. You know what I'm saying? I dropped the ball heavy on that one. And I think that dishonesty honestly was tied to insecurity. It was tied to insecurity, in which was so ironic because I felt so free to be my complete self and I had been the most, but that's the thing. It's like you can't look at another person as if they're the reason why you're secure, that you're confident. You just have to be that on your own. And I think that had I learned that completely before entering into a very mature relationship with this gentleman, I should have worked on that. Like, I'm doing that the shit that you're supposed to do. You can't get away from it, and you can only kid yourself for so long.
No, no, I feel you in that one. There's been times like even in my single days, like one of the things that will make me depressed and without even realizing it to like why I put myself in a depressed state in a situation like this when it came to like dealing with the opposite gender. My most depressed times is when I overlooked the ones who respected my time, who literally wanted, who were literally like would hit me up, you know, calling or I don't like to use the word begging, but you know what I mean? Being upfront that look, they really value me. While I'm chasing after the other ones who I'm like, man, like, first she was cool, now she pulled back. I'm trying to get to like how it is like, with my other female friends or whatever, or girls, however you want to call it back then. So I'm chasing, I'm pursuing, and I'm not getting the results. So it's not making me happy. And it's making me think, well, what am I doing something wrong? You know? But of course, me having the pride that I have, I ain't gonna like, hit them up and blow the phone up or whatever. I'll take it as an L, but I never took it as a lesson. And the biggest lesson is that, like, like I had to learn for myself that look, I keep putting myself in situations of being around with people who really don't want to be around with me like that, who don't really see the value in what I have to bring to the table. And so I have to go back and humble myself and be like, why I keep doing this? There's a void that I'm missing or that I'm trying to figure out. And I'm not checking myself into that or being like, hey, like, I'm struggling in this type of behavior because maybe I'm having some type of like attachment issues, but then yet meanwhile, someone else is probably getting their feelings hurt because I'm disregarding their needs or their time that they want to spend with me. And so I realized that it took me a minute like to really like correlate that together. And then once I kind of like figured out, I'm like, you know what? My most happiest times is actually when I just kept things simple and just actually be content with the ones, right? Even though we all have flaws, but be content with the ones that actually cherish my time. And the ones that's like, hey, like, I don't need you at the moment or whatever. Hey, I ain't gonna be like, like forget them. You know what I mean? But they're no longer gonna be like a priority on my list of me chasing after them. if that makes sense.
Oh no, most definitely. And there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of things that I would not ever do again. And I mean, I sum it up to that, but it was just like a lot of things. It was also, I was, if I'm honest, it was like I was trying to possess him in a way that it's like, that's not possessed, but I was insinuating that my needs should be met before other people's. You know what I mean? And so
Okay.
it was, but my action, but this is where I messed up at. Whatever you feel, and here's the thing, I'm not discrediting like my feelings or what you should feel, but my only thing that I regret is how I approached it, because I acted out of that, and it was really emotional. It just ended up like shutting shit down, where I was straight off of all of them too. Like I felt like I was right in that moment. I truly did. But looking back on it, I don't think I was 100% right. I think my approach was completely wrong. I think the dishonesty part was wrong, and that's it. That's what I apologize for. The other shit, that's between, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we could probably talk more behind the scenes or whatever, right? But I guess like in a general like stance, right? Um, you know, whenever like a certain need is not met, or whenever we feel like we need to control the individual, most of the time, like we'll get into a form of manipulation, which eventually kind of leads into a disagreement or argument, but then
Right.
we'll make it seem like it's their fault. Like it's your
Right.
fault, the reason why I'm like this. It's your fault that the reason why I feel this way. You know what I mean? And salutes to
What's
Von
up?
Eric.
Salute to everybody. I'm on a device where I can't see the comments until it's right there. So I don't know whether I'm just old or what. But well, salute to everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We're talking about, you know what it is. It's all up in there. Also, I think what happens is when we're in these spaces, right? We're in these spaces such as, the podcast, or just, talking, chopping it up. It's like, if you're gonna keep it real and expect people to keep it real in those spaces, like, you're eventually gonna have to fight your own demons. You're gonna eventually have to dig deep on what the fuck is wrong with you, and why you're making certain decisions, and why you're unhappy about things. Because I truly feel like we contribute to our unhappiness and our dissatisfaction. I think, and hey, you can poke holes in this. You can come for me if you want, but it's like I really feel like take we should take ownership in that. So because if you can take ownership in the fact that you're not making your goals, whatever they may be, I think it gives you a better, um, pretty much a better playing field on narrowing shit down. You know what I'm saying? And tackling it. Could be demons, it could be, whatever your insecurities and whatnot. But I'm really grateful for that relationship. It really, it I do consider it a stepping stone relationship, because I don't think my life is necessarily like, can't move on without this person. It clearly has. So I'm really grateful for what I learned in that relationship. And again, like, I don't ever have to speak to this person, but I can still respect and love what we had.
Mm, okay, okay. No, no, that's fair enough. And I'm gonna send the invitations to the people who may want to come up in the chat.
Heck
But
yeah.
you
I might
know,
have to relocate to another
all right. So
oh,
family,
you know
man.
what? Hold on. I'm sorry. One moment. I'm joined by my oos. My sister's right here. What's up, Nene? We got Nene up in the
Oh, we got
building.
Nene in the building. What's up, Nene? How you doing?
Hey,
Hey, hey.
hey.
So we're just talking technical stuff. Thank you. I'm sorry about that.
No, no,
Um,
you good.
so, sis, we were talking about accountability, and I shared a personal story of a regret that I have in a previous relationship in which I wasn't completely honest with this person. Therefore, the demise of it, everything was like shut to the ground, boom. So it's like after that, it's like I was so mad and I was so right in the moment. I felt like I was right. I was dead ass right. But now that I've been like, chilling with myself, I've come to the realization that I really fucked that up and I dropped that ball because it was more on because the issue was that I had dropped the ball on the values. Like when it came to my own values, it was that was affected. Like I don't want to be lied to, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be led, you know what I'm saying? So that's where we're at. And M3 was sharing some information as well.
Yeah, yeah. And then if you ever want to like, share anything like maybe experience of like maybe things that you probably done where it's like, okay, now you're open to like be held accountable, or you feel like, okay, man, I should have checked myself on this, or maybe one of my homegirls, if they saw whatever you was doing wrong, they should check you on that part, on that aspect. So that's what we're talking about right now. Because and the people, anybody feel free to come up. Smitty said he'll come up in the next like 15 minutes to really address like accountability. But yeah, yeah, you guys feel free to rock the floor if you guys have anything in mind.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds good.
Um, I think I'm grateful to have um, like accountability for me. It has been part of my character, and I'm very grateful to have been that way for since I can remember. But I believe accountability is the quickest way for you to get goals set, or like the quickest way for you to diffuse whatever it is. Accountability is the quickest way to get there. The quicker and the sooner you just sit in that space of just accountability and go through it, the quicker you process and get to whatever goals, if that makes sense. So accountability is a smart way to go about things. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay, okay. So then, like, I get it that the quicker like you hold yourself accountable, the better like like maybe life would be in a
Oh yeah,
particular
the better your
situation.
outcome, because
Yeah.
with accountability comes with process, which comes with insight. So if you weren't accountable for something, right, your insight is a certain way. It's different. Instead of a person, let's say, that's been took accountability, there's a different way of looking at it. So you lose that insight if you're not accountable for, you know what I mean? So it's
Mhm.
the smartest thing to do is to be accountable for yourself, because that has a clarity. If you want if you want clear clarity and all that, and just to be healthy in the way you think and operate, accountability is a good way to have a solid foundation and to build on.
Okay.
Um,
So why is it that like it's so hard for people to accept accountability or to hold themselves like to a certain standard?
I think people are sensitive when you shine a light on their weaknesses, basically. And I think maybe people. I don't know. I think yeah, people are just sensitive, and it's hard to look at yourself in the mirror, and actually sit there. And sometimes when you're accountable, you don't get the correct, say, response. Maybe it's a very unhealthy response you get, even while you're being accountable. But it's still good to sit in that space. But yeah, it's hard to look at your mistakes. Sometimes it's hard, when your intentions are well, but something bad came out of it, and so it's just hard sometimes to look at that
I think
dark
people are
side.
emotional. I think sometimes they can't see the logically because they're all in their emotions in the moment. They're either enraged, they're hurt, or they don't know, and then you don't really communicate that well through your emotions. I know I don't. So I think that with it, like one thing I love is that as a human, like no one can choose can force me to do anything really. You know what I mean? For instance, I mean, even if you believe in a higher source, if you believe in God, for example, he can't. My belief is that God or the Creator, it cannot make me choose anything. In fact, it's a gift for me to choose because without choice and going through accountability, pretty much, I think it goes hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? So you make your choices, and you have to be accountable for whatever comes with it, the consequences. And so I think it's part of adulting. I do agree with you for sure in that you have to, it makes your life more, I would say, I don't know if it makes your life anything else but more purposeful, because if you're
Very.
accountable with
Yeah.
yourself.
Because when you look at the whole process
Mhm.
in itself, there's more to than just facing the music. Because there's an afterwards after that. You've gained so much insight, and you know, and it just keeps growing from that. So being accountable is like a very smart thing you should do for yourself.
Yeah, it's easier said than done. So the reason why people usually don't is, and some people just think that they're in the right. That's another emotion, I think.
So then I guess my next question is that, okay, so we're narrowing down that people can be in their feelings. You know what I mean? When it comes to like avoiding like accountability, when it comes to stuff that they're going through. So then maybe now it's like us having an understanding probably develop some type of compassion. But now if we're seeing like, let's say our brother or our sister, whoever else that's around us, and we feel like we need to hold them to a standard of accountability, how could we probably approach them where they don't feel like they're being attacked?
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't really force anybody to do anything either. Like, you just have to be accountable for yourself. That's it, really. Now you can share with them, like, maybe this hurt my feelings,
Mm-hmm.
maybe this made me feel that way, but I'm never gonna be like, I can't even. I can tell my kids to do something, but at the end of the day, they can choose to do it or not. So I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I hear you. I I would probably disagree just a little bit because okay, we may not be able to force them to like change or act accordingly, but we could actually like give like a expression like, hey, like look, you know what you're doing, you're going down the wrong path. I can't tell you what to do, X, Y to the Z, but just know I'm just giving my unsolicited opinion, and I'm just trying to help. Because if you're doing this, let's say the person is out there doing crime or whatever, and that's like your homie or whatever, and you don't want your homie to go to jail, go to prison or whatever. So at a certain point, you're not going to probably remain silent. You may just pull this person to the side and say, "Hey, like I just want to just have a conversation and just let you know this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling or whatever." But the choice is still up to you. You know what I mean? Because and the other thing is that especially and this probably is coming from a culture of men where it's like, okay, um men always are being held accountable to some like aspect. I'm not saying women are not held accountable, but I'm talking about like within like my peer group, you know what I mean? Especially like when it comes to like let's say a better precision, um, you know, a certain status or whatever, people unfortunately are going to adopt you or they're going to delegate you as a person that will lead by example based on maybe a certain type of leadership role or position that you're in. You may not be in a leadership position, but let's say you're working at a company now where it's like you're promoted into a delegated leader. And so now people are looking at you as the example. And so, it may kind of sucks because now it's like you're feeling, excuse me, the pressure of judgment or criticism when you screw up that, but that's all part of like, people that's giving their unsolicited opinions or try to hold you to like a standard that at the moment of time you may feel like that it's not even well deserved or even fair. But sometimes people are in those type of roles where they didn't ask for people to hold on like some type of high regard, but it just happens that way.
I think that sounds like expectation, and it could mean, and people could, I guess, try to hold you accountable. But I think at the end of the day, expectation is a killer, yo. Like, we shouldn't have expectations of anybody. Now, for for instance, hey, what's up, everybody? Um, I think
What's good, Hank?
expectations, like, let's say there's a contractual agreement. However, you know what I mean. There's a obligation to do. I understand that, but overall, I think if you live a life where you don't have expectations of people, you can't really get disappointed. That sounds kumbaya, but I'm just, you know what I mean. What do you think?
Yeah, that works.
I mean, I know people I know people do that. That's just my perception. And please, if you have a different one, boom, hit it.
No, I mean it makes sense. I mean, you know, on the contrary, like on the flip side, like when you're having a certain expectation on that person, like I want to make a guarantee, but I'm just gonna say it like this: you have, I'll say 9 times out of 10, you're going to see something about this person, and then you're going to be utterly disappointed because you have a fantasy in your head that, man, this person can do no wrong. This person's like a legend. This person has so many amazing qualities. But the more time you spend with that person, the more of the negative qualities that, well, it ain't no qualities, the more of the negative stuff that you're gonna see about the person, the things that you're not gonna really like, you know, and you're gonna be like, damn, you know what I mean? So, and correlating with this is all part of like getting to know people. This is all part of like a relationship cycle or journey. And so certain people are going to come into your life for the pivotal moment of time to pretty much your strengthen your character if you allow it. You know, some people it takes a minute for them to really see, so they have to go through a cycle, maybe of good or bad relationships. You know, but let me go ahead and bring Big Rig Slap in the building. What up,
What's
Big Rig?
up, Big
What's
Red?
good? What's good?
The other half of easily rigged. What up,
So y'all
Brody? How
talk.
you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Y'all talking about growth and accountability, or accountability and growth?
Yeah, yeah, it's just yeah, like pretty much accountability equals to growth, man. When you see it in a way where it could actually benefit you. A lot of times, people will try to avoid accountability because they don't want to feel the shame, the guilt. But then, when you really see it as a way to strengthen up your character, that's when growth is going to happen. Especially when you're ready to acknowledge that.
Yeah, I could dig it. Um, I just kind of had this conversation the other day with my partner, man. Kind of like what you were saying when you know people, and they can have good qualities about them, but then there'd be just some shit that be a little bit off, and then you just start kind of noticing it more and more and more, and you just be like, God dang. Um, it's rough, man, because I know people that are older, man, and you think because they were older they would have some freaking accountability about their fucking selves, you know what I'm saying? But they still lack it, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think that all comes with like how it's like you said, growth, man. It comes with age. I'm really strong on wisdom, man. I like I know the way I think now is way different than what I did, you know, even like 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? There's been that much difference of growth. So like, you know, that's with that time, you know what I'm saying? I'm able to be way more accountable than what I was before. But like I said, there's a lot of people that just they lack it, like you say, the shame, whatever. But sometimes you just gotta bite that bullet, man, because then you'll never grow. You'll always revert to that shit because you'll be comfortable in it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I try to, you know, I just myself, you know, I just try to be as on point, you know what I'm saying, as possible. And if I do, you know, come up short, you know what I mean, I have no problem, you know what I'm saying, admitting it, you know what I'm saying, and my faults and growing from it, man. And that's all it really is, man. You know, like nobody's perfect. So, you know, if shit happens, man, you know what I'm saying, you figure it out or you get through it, man, and you grow from it, man, and you don't go through that shit again, you know what I'm saying, hopefully next time. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm all for it, man. But you know, it is just it just messes me up, man, when I see older people that and they have kids, you know what I'm saying, and it's just like fuck, man, you know what I mean, like your kids see this shit. They see that you ain't accountable and that you'll make excuses and you know all kind of things, you know what I'm saying, and it's just like
Yeah,
it's
age
rough,
has
man.
nothing to do with it.
What happened?
I said age has nothing to do with it.
Age has nothing to do with it, man, you know, and that's what trips me out. Even I don't mean to jump on the relationship thing, but even with relationships, bro, you know, when you're younger, you know, junior high, high school, you know, the little bullshit you go through with your girl, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you was looking at that girl, or hey, you was doing this. That shit don't change, man. You be 30, 40 years old, going through the same freak. Now, I don't know about everybody, but I've went through the same freaking arguments like that. And I was just like, wow, man. You would think because we was older, you'd be past that shit. But even phone calls on the phone and shit just be like, man, this shit sound like really like high schoolish, you know what I'm saying? And we're fucking adults. I was talking to one of my OG partners, he's 62 years old. And he be going through shit like that. I'd be like, God dog, man. Age don't got nothing to do with it, man.
Nope, not at all. It's really about taking accountability sometimes. I mean, not just about that, but I think it really helps. And it's not just relationships like romantic relationships. I'm talking every kind of relationship, agape relationships, friend or brotherly, sibling, relationships. My sister, she's let's just say this, she helped to raise me. She's been there a lot. She's seen the worst and the worst, and she's there to celebrate the best of the best with me. She's my best friend, but I still don't have expectations of her, because she could treat me like some of my relatives that treat me and just shun me if she wanted to. Because and it's just all you can do is be grateful. So I do put that into, like, if you have a solid person that you're dealing with, you should always be grateful for that person, because like we all have our strengths and weaknesses and we all bring something to the table. Mr. Steve Harvey is someone that I admire a lot. I think he gives great financial advice. I think he's very smart, but he said something that I disagree with. He said something to the effect of, pretty much, what does a man bring to the table, because a woman can make another human with her body. Well, some women can't, and some women don't want to. There is more purpose in life than just having children, and that's coming from somebody who really loves her children and has had biological children, but only after many doctors have told me I would not have children. That's why I don't believe in Western medicine. So I just mean that rant to say that, like, these relationships, like, it's with everything. And I think that when you strengthen relationship with just like even your neighbor, or you with your pets, you know what I mean? I think you would strengthen relationships across the board because the micro reveals the macro.
Definitely speak on that. I feel you on that one. Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, man, it's accountability, man, goes like in all different ways, man. Like, don't even have to be about like the core of relationships. You know, it's basically just like you seeing yourself as a person that what you need to do and work in your own character is basically just character building. Like, and that's pretty much learning through like like life's like trials and tribulations to it. Salute to Waldo, the ruler, man. Shout out to my brother.
What's up,
Thank you for tuning in.
Waldo? Yeah.
And then we got Grizzly Bear Productions.
What's up,
Salute to
Grizzly Bear
Grizz.
Productions?
Hey, look, everybody, if y'all want to like come up, man, speak on like accountability, let me know like in the chat, man, because I know y'all watching us, man. But
And more
I want to
specifically, like what you learned from it and how it's helped you to get closer to your goals. And again, not everything is about romantic relationships. These are just relationships across the board in this human experience in this matrix.
Exactly. So Grizz, man, Waldo, man, if y'all want to come up, man, definitely, man, just share like an experience, man, of what you have learned, like in just like your years of like life on this earth. What you learn about like in situations where maybe you probably encountered something where you was at fault and now like it probably took you weeks, days, hours, or maybe years to see maybe like what you need to do to really work on. And actually we got the man in the building right now. What's up, Waldo?
What's up, sir?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey,
Listen,
God bless, man. Good to
yeah,
see you up here.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, man. It's big blessings. I said I took this week off going live, but I was like, yo, let me go ahead and show love to my people. I said really on Instagram or whatever. I said I was gonna just observe, leave my spirit open to listen. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I know so often in life, man, we get to flapping these gums and everything. Then this thing we make ourselves lose a little knowledge. We seem dumb because we just love to speak, just love to speak. So I just said, man, I want to be a learner this week, and that's what I've been doing. I just been going on different people's lives, and I just been holding the chat down, you know. But what
Yeah.
we talking about? You said something about accountability or something right there, right?
Yep, accountability equals growth. So we're just pretty much asking a whole various of topics about accountability. Like in one random question, like, well, let me ask this: what does accountability mean to you? Let me
Oh
start off
man,
with that.
man, accountability means um like discipline, growth,
Okay.
discipline and growth. One thing accountability does, it forms character and give you a sense of integrity as well. You know what I'm saying? In
Mm-hmm.
your routine and your actions and whatnot. Because if you're not accountable to anybody, man, you might just run wild. You know what I'm saying? And not take care of
Mm.
responsibilities, man, and get neglectful of things, and then things begin to pile up on you. So, I love self accountability, but I love especially accountability for my peers. Because sometimes you can lose sight in self, but if you
Mm-hmm.
got good people around you to say, hey, look, man, hey, you're going a little bit too far, man. I saw you the other day. This ain't like you. Well, what's
I
up?
love
Pull
that.
you by the coattail. Like, you need those people around you. You don't need a bunch of yes
We
men.
need to be those people too.
Yes, most definitely, man. And I give permission to anybody, as long as it's done tastefully now.
Right.
you know, some people get a little bit disrespectful here, man. You motherfucker, blah blah blah. Like, well, wait a minute now. Hey, I'm still a man now. I still got a pair of balls. I don't.
Which you enjoy from time to time, girl. So stop it.
Yes.
Right.
So, those be the things, man. But I love it. I love just beautiful friendship, beautiful people to be able to express themselves, man, and say, yo, and expect more out of us. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like, yes, you reached that level, but what you got next? Like, we're gonna applaud you, thank you, but what you got next? Somebody that's gonna keep challenging you to set the goalposts a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
I love, listen, accountability partners, man. Shoot, it's a beautiful thing. And then, especially if you can find it in a mate, man. I know you probably got that, Mr. M3. I know your woman over there probably saying, "Hey, all right, that's
Oh,
good."
she's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
She makes me really, honestly, she makes
Uh,
me feel like, dang, Rue, you could step it up a little bit.
See, oh yeah, that's what's up. See
Mm.
what I'm
Okay.
saying? Just by the actions, and I think women normally have a honey-do list, right? And
A
it's
honey what list?
a honey-do list, like a honey
Okay.
to-do list, like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
fix this, fix that, get oil
Mm-hmm.
change or whatever the case is, possibly blah 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 blah. And each time you check something off, it's like you get rewarded a little bit. Respect goes up in her eyes. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Her heart warms, her spirit begins to glow, and she knows that you're dependable and accountable. So she can rely on you to get the job done. And I think that's what most women just really want, man. And salute
Real
to you,
shit.
M3. I could tell you that type of brother. It's like your background look all nice and clear
M3
and
is
stuff.
amazing.
Look.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing over there.
I appreciate you guys for the flattery though, but no respect though. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
most definitely.
No
Most definitely.
flattery here. Are you kidding me? It is a compliment.
Yes. So
My
I don't
mistake.
need to
I'll
kiss
make that
any of
correction.
y'all asses.
and kudos to you too, Ruby Doll and big hold on, big
Big rig
slaps,
slap.
man. Yeah, big
Thank
red
you.
slaps. I think big red slaps is that my brother that be having like the multiple women? Is that best cousin right there? Is that the dude?
Multiple women.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll let Big
Nah,
Rig
that
speak
ain't
for
me,
himself.
bro. That ain't me.
Oh no. He said, "Yo, you can't just kick it with one. It's somebody that be getting on best lives and everything. Like, no, you can't kick it with just one woman. You gotta have about
Who you
four of them
saying?
in
That's
rotation."
Stanley. That's
Oh,
Stanley.
Stanley.
Stand
Yeah,
the
oh,
man.
Stanley,
okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Big red slaps. My bad, bro.
I was like,
Look, I
wait,
don't
was
want your
that
girl to be
me? I'm just
listening.
kidding.
I don't want your girl to be listening. They be like,
Yeah.
what woman he had? What woman? They take the little thing. I'm gonna hold him accountable right now. Look.
Right. As you should.
Shouts to our homie Stan, man. Stan the man, you know.
Yeah.
He always be bringing life to it. But no, but see, this is what this goes back to what I was saying, Rue. Like, yeah, like sometimes, man, like having, people that could hold us accountable and still having the ability to speak up and hold the other person accountable, but more in a respectful way. Because I like
Yes.
that also that key aspect. Because the thing is, mm, um, I think, and I could be wrong, so y'all could correct me on this one, right? But for for most men where they kind of fall short, is that you may have some man that may actually do like hold you accountable, but you can't really tell if it's out of love or out of
Hey.
spite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, there's a certain way that you need to approach me and talk to me. I'm not sounding arrogant or honest though, but the same way, like how I would prefer someone to pull me to the side and not try to embarrass me in public, I would do the same thing for the other person. You know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, ooh, that's wrong or whatever, right? But like, I will softly speak to you in private and be like, look, I don't agree, and this is why I think that you kind of did this, kind of foul. But I'm not
Yes.
going to come at you in a disrespectful type of way because I know through my disrespect, I'm not going to reach out to you, you know. But through love and compassion, that's how I'm going to get to your heart that way. And if you still reject it, then it's not on me, it's on you, and you take it the way how you want it because my opinion is just my opinion. But at the end of the day, We all know what's right and what's not right. So yeah, I'll digress for that one. Anybody else want to speak on it?
I totally agree, brother, man. It's just everything lead with love. That's why I always tell people when you got a rebuttal or whatever the case is. And I can really break this down real fast because I do have to go in a bit.
Sure,
But I
sure.
would say critiquing and criticize. Critiquing is when you tell somebody off or you take those parts away, but you give them something else to build with. Criticize is like, I'm gonna leave you down. I take all the parts away, but I ain't giving you no way to figure out how to work this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And it's just as important as it about the message, it is how it is delivered. And I did have to learn that too. So long story, like for instance, if I'm trying to express my love to my sister, I'm going to speak in a way that she can receive that. And I think that's there's even a biblical reference to this for all my Bible scholars out there. When Paul, I think he was talking, he had taught that. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just, what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that it's simply okay to just say what it is that's on your mind? Well, I think M3, you just alluded to the fact that you prefer, and I think you give that as well. Also, I think that it's important that if you're able to give it or dish it, you should be able to take it.
I gotta say no. I gotta say you can't just go out and just say whatever you want
Exactly.
and feel free, off the tongue because you gotta know who you dealing with. So like I was just thinking when M3 was talking, right? I ain't never met M3 personally in my life. You feel me? We got about a good 2 years now, you know what I'm saying, of knowing each other through, online and the stream and everything. And I can kind of tell his vibe. I'm pretty sure he can kind of tell my vibe and just be knowing, kind of how M3 gets down on what I pick up from him. If I seen him kind of like going astray on something, I would go ahead and put a bug in his ear. I think if he seen me kind of going astray on something, he would kind of put a bug in my ear. You know what I'm saying? Because he can kind of feel my attitude, how I may, you know, come back at him, you know what I'm saying? Like how I receive shit, you know what I'm saying? Like not everybody can take in things, man. Not everybody can dish shit out, you know what I'm saying, and take it. You know what I mean? They can't. And that's why you can't do that, you know what I mean? And that's why it's always good to have a really, really good community, man. Like my community, to keep it all the way 100, is probably like a good like 3 or 4 people, you know what I'm saying? Strong partners, you know what I'm saying? That, we can hold it really tight, you know what I'm saying? And cross game with each other with no judgment, no issues, you know what I'm saying? But really keep it solid. We all got families, we all, got kids and shit. We live for our kids and our family. You know what I'm saying? So we stay on point when it comes to certain shit. You know what I'm saying? Like because we want to be here for our family. And I think being around brothers and when I say brothers, it don't mean they gotta be, black or whatever, just your peoples, being around people, man, that, share those same type of values and everything, it keeps you strong, man. It keeps you level headed. If I'm out here fucking around with just hella off brands and shit, you know what I'm saying, that kind of do things that I don't do, don't really have families, don't really value the fact, you know what I'm saying, of making sure everything is good at home and, just regular things like that, it ain't gonna work, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna end up probably picking up some of their little vibes and stupid shit, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna detour me a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm rocking with them on certain shit. So it's just to me, it's always good to have a good little community, man, of people that can just keep you strong, keep you right and level headed, man. Because it really you can't do it yourself, man. Like people think that they strong and they got all the answers, man, and it's really funny, man, because you really don't. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll think somebody don't know nothing. You have a conversation with them and they like, damn, they done brought out a whole different, you know what I'm saying, perspective on this. So It's good to just have a good community, man. But I definitely say no on just trying to correct anybody or hold anybody accountable. That could probably get you into a bad word salad, to where somebody may think you coming at them wrong, or who was you to try to keep tell me anything. You only person that can keep me accountable is my parents or God, or
Yeah.
they go into some old other thing. You feel me? So shit, nah, bro. I'll go ahead. I'll keep quiet, but like somebody that I know that I could like cross game with or something, man, and I know that can take in some of these words. You feel me? And again, I kind of take that with the wisdom I got. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty good, you know, I'm pretty good at kind of reading people and reading kind of their vibes and like who to maybe carry out the conversation with and who not to. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to get my head bit off, because then I'm gonna want to do some head biting. You know what I mean? So the wisdom is keeping me from doing that shit. Like, all right, I ain't gonna enter these waters. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
Yeah, no. I
Thank you for
respect
that
that.
insight.
Hmm. The thing is that yeah, I mean, and I'm glad that you mentioned that part, Riggs, because yeah, because in my mind, when I'm like, okay, hold people accountable, I'm mostly just talking about, hey man, people that you know, but strangers and people that you don't even have a good rapport. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, do it at your own discretion. You know, just be careful because folks be wild emotional, man. They be
Hey,
out there.
and see, there's people I've known for years, bro, and I ain't gonna tell them shit because they got a
Oh
foul
damn.
ass mouth. I already know how they gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? And I know them for years. You know what I'm saying? It just really be killing me. Like, man, when the hell are you just gonna fucking grow up, man? You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, and some of them sound like a lost cause, Riggs. But damn, I
Yeah.
feel you though. I mean, you do have those type of people where it's like, if you know that they're not coachable, then it's like, all right. I mean, all you could do is just say like a nice little silent prayer for them. Silent night, holy night.
Yeah, no,
Anyways,
seriously. And you know what, you guys, I'm really a pusher of self love. But only because it takes like work to do that, right? You have to discover, you have to do self discovery, you have to do a bunch of shit. You have to know who you are. And life will teach you that. Like, if you don't know who you are, life is going to tell you who you are. I promise you that. And so it's like, I think if we love on ourselves so fiercely that we hold ourselves so accountable, we're going to be able to see where other people aren't, doing what they got to do. And it's okay. It's always like, it's never about what anybody else is doing. That's the shit. And that's the only message that I want to convey tonight is like, I could be in a relationship right now with a guy or a girl that just wants to use and abuse me. But so it's like, well, then is that like, how much do I love myself? How much accountability do I take for my own life? You know what I'm saying? How much am I going to be like, this is cool? You know what I'm saying? And I think people do it all the time. So I'm not like speaking some foreign language here. You know what I'm saying? So I think with self love comes it comes just this unshakable feeling of what's right according to your own moral compass. You feel me on that? Does that make sense? I mean, salute, Raldo. Thank you for coming.
yeah. Thank you for coming up. Yeah. No. I dig, Rue. I dig.
And
And
really, like a lot of my shit that didn't work out, I have to take full responsibility. Why? Because I was part of it. If I was part of anything that has failed, including my the disbandment of my family, I have to take some ownership in that.
Well, going back to like oh, go ahead, MP.
no, go ahead, Rex. You good?
Um, Going back to the accountable thing, man, with the parent side, you feel me? I really felt it was important to be as accountable and transparent with my son as possible, because I feel like doing that, for one, he'll see I have no problem admitting to maybe a fault or something if I was wrong, with no issue. Because when he has his faults, I want him to be able to do the same thing. I don't want him to run no bullshit on me, man. Kids bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said it's fucking, it's good for the parents, bro, to fucking get out of that stage of making excuses and doing dumb shit. Because kids, they see that shit, man. They know that shit. And when they see their parents doing it, they gonna do it even more, man. It'd be simple shit to where you ask them something and they just stay quiet. Like, you know, you fucking did it. You know what I mean? But you don't even want to admit this shit. Like, this shit is crazy. But that's why I feel it's really, really important as a parent to fucking be accountable, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and show it. Show your accountability, especially when it comes to your kids being around or whatnot. They need to see that shit. There's nothing wrong
I
with
agree.
fucking with being wrong and admitting you're wrong, and
And
then, you know, coming to a
apologizing.
solution. Yeah, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, you know, just people, they don't do it. Their pride gets in the way. Um, that's why, like, you know, again, myself, I run my household with a hands off policy, because for one, I'm a big dude. You know what I'm saying? And if I get to, like, you know, spanking or doing some shit like that, I'm gonna be angry. I may hit too hard. So now it's like, to me, it's like I'm damn near putting my emotions onto my kid. You know what I'm saying? When I can really fucking do some other things to really get my point across. Because the physical, yeah, I get it, but that's me more letting off my frustrations. I used to get fucking beat with switches, bro. I used to have to go outside and pick my switch, bro. Like, you know, I grew up in that area. You know what I'm saying? Like, stepdad holding
I
us
got
down and shit,
fucked up.
mom
I would
holding us
get
down while
fucked
one
up.
spanking us, the whole everything, bro. Like,
Choose
all
your
that
weapon.
shit. It was a brutal.
Sorry
It
to
was
curse.
brutal.
Am I not supposed to?
You know what I'm saying? Some shit that kids go through now, they run away and never come back. You know what I'm saying? Because they think their parents don't love them or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I just run. That's just how I run my household, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel there's another way and a better way of doing things. I think it does a better job on the mind development. You know what I'm saying? And the respect issue, and just kind of forming into being an adult, man. You know what I'm saying? And accountability is a big, big thing, man. And I'm really big on that. You know what I'm saying? And I really try to call it out, especially when it comes to my son. You know, when it comes to school or whatever, don't be that guy that's a bullshitter, bro. Don't be the one you get caught up or something in school or some shit and you want to play the game and just fucking admit it, man. You know what I'm saying? Take what you got to take, whatever it is, man. Grow from that shit. Apologize from it. You know what I'm saying? And move forward. But all the other bullshit and everything, it's like, bro, that's, for one, it takes a lot of energy. You look like a fucking idiot. You know what I'm saying? And that's just keeping it all the way 100, man. Don't be that guy. Just be fucking as the best version of yourself every day. I put that on my fucking stories. I live by that shit. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with being courteous. There's nothing wrong with opening doors. There's nothing wrong with giving somebody a smile or asking how they're doing. I teach my son all of that shit. A lot of people, they don't even think about that type of shit. I have people that tell me, you know what, man, you're raising a fucking good man. It feels good to hear that shit, but it's nothing, bro. That's how we should fucking be. You know what I'm saying? Period. You know what I'm saying? That's
Bam.
and that's just, you know, that's just my spill on it, man. And that accountability, it has a big thing, man, because if you don't show accountability, especially show that in your kids, they'll be just telling you anything, man. They'll never admit to shit, and that's gonna carry out to schoolwork, all kind of things, man. They're always having a fucking answer for everything because they don't want to tell the truth and be accountable for their own fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Just fucking go through what you got to go through. Nobody's perfect, man, and grow from it.
And these are like really turbulent times as ever, but they're gonna learn these curse words in school. That I definitely know that for sure, you know. And I think that for example, I was trying hard not to curse in front of my kids this period of time, right? But there were times where I was losing the point because I was trying so hard not to curse. So I think that sometimes, just like not finding fault within ourselves, we're trying so hard to be good, so hard to like do on this straight and narrow path to hold it down, POP, to be the perfect parent, whatever. But there's sometimes where we're just like, hey, I'm a freaking human and I just need the space right now. I think that's a good level of honesty too. Sometimes you can keep it real. I tell my 8-year old, honey, I cannot answer your question right now. I need a minute. She understands usually. It doesn't have to get hostile. I am big on the no spanking approach, although I have spanked my little child. I've spanked before, but I'm never okay with just physically abuse, hitting somebody like they're like your size. That's just crazy, and we know that's crazy. So I think that also it's like, think of the damage and the therapy that that kid might need in the end. You know what I mean? And I try to remember that when my fury gets the best of me, and I remember how I used to get beat. And I could say, yeah, it turned out fine. But nah, dude, a girl, I used to fuck with drugs. You know what I'm saying? I used to make some really bad choices. And again, I don't say this to put my shit out on blast. It's just because I know that there's somebody that has to experience this. That if this helps you, if this conversation helps anybody, please let it help you. We don't even got to know about it. Just I think that's the importance of sharing like our thoughts and our minds. It's not just hearing ourselves talk up here. It's like we're living this life where all going through a lot. We all have huge iceberg stories filled with trauma and what have you, and we're still trying to operate. We're still trying to love. We're still trying to love ourselves, pay our bills, love on our children, not make these mistakes. But it's like we're so gonna mess up. Like it's so gonna happen. So I'm not gonna disillusion myself. I'm gonna be the first. If I fuck up, I should be the first one to be like, "Yo, come on, Rue, let's get on it." You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a moral compass, whether it's psychological, anything, but it's based on what I set for myself and my values.
Yeah, I definitely like that, man, because and it had me thinking too. Now, this is like a guy coming from a guy who don't have kids, but to actually put yourself like in a childlike mind and reminisce, it's like how it felt getting those beatings, getting those ass whoopings or whatever. I mean, some people, I mean, they God didn't have it for me, but I've seen some people where moms pull out the butcher knife on some of their kids, the shotguns on some of the children or whatever. And I was just like, man, like I would be traumatized. You know what I mean? Like, if I grew up in that type of situation where if that happened to me. And I don't know
Because
how I
it's
would feel.
trauma based. It's
Yeah,
fucked
yeah, you
up.
know what I mean? Like they feel like, okay, the best solution is pretty much give you like a wholesome ass whooping, but without no closure, no explanation of how you could be better. It just like do this or else, you know? And it's like, how could you really function as an adult and then you having children? Are you gonna do what your parents do, or are you gonna do something different? And obviously most of you guys, decide to do something different, which I think the best way is to pretty much sit down and talk about these are the consequences that will happen when you do this. Because right now, you may give them like the easy way just to teach them, but in the real world, man, the real world is going to be even brutal. So it's like you got to prepare for them mentally for the real world, because the real world, man, like, dude, they ain't gonna show you no mercy. I'm just gonna put it like that. Um, the other thing I will say is this too. In regards to like like just doing a reflection of my life with accountability, even on these type of live streams. I think like, when I started to get into this whole, red pill cycle and doing all these relationship talks. Salutes to Kim and Susan KMA. Thank you for tuning in. Feel free to come up. The link is pinned to the chat. But and we're also talking about accountability if you're just now tuning in. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, we did we did some good things on the live streams, but we also did harm as well too. Getting into like the foolish talk about what's trending, what's hot, what people would like to talk about. Most of the time, especially when you have a huge support of men, you have to realize that everything that you say, people are going to take it literal. You may be trolling at the moment. You may just be playing the game. You may just be like, look, man, I'm just having fun, with these gender war type of topics. But there's people that's out there that's really serious. There's people that's out there that literally hate women. And then there's women out here in this space that literally hate men. And it's like, do you want to be known for someone that's going to bring peace, or be known for someone that's going to actually destroy? And then when you think of, for me, when I had to think about this, I'm like, in real life, like the shit that I be talking about sometimes, right? I don't even apply that, all that red pill stuff or Mansfield stuff into the real life. Most people respect me, or most women, I would say, respect me because I'm who I am. I'm not going by like a playbook. I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to go by the rule. If, let's say, if you don't text me in a certain amount of time, then I'm going to cut you off, or I'm going to ignore you, or show some type of dominance. I don't have to treat my wife as if she's inferior to me, whereas she has to be super submissive to be a qualified queen or wife or whatever, and I gotta be hyper masculine, you know what I mean? Show my dominance and all that. When you actually have love for that person, all that Mansfield stuff actually goes out through the window. You're not even thinking about who's superior and who's inferior. You're just thinking about just serving. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about being nobody's slave, but serving out of love. What can I do to really help satisfy you? What can I do to help be there for you? Because I want you to know that I literally care for you. That's the amount of love that I have. And that's the amount of love that I actually have for our community. So whenever I'm seeing things that is still the same about why women are or I guess why men and women are still at war or whatever, dude, I'm totally done with it. We got somebody up in the building. What up, Dark Link? I mean, no, Dark Bandit.
What's up, Dark Bandit?
Dark
Hey,
Bandit
Dark Lake still,
revive.
man. I be watching you, Dark Lake, man. You be talking that shit, bro. I be seeing you over there on fucking long shit, man.
Yeah,
I
bro,
be
talking that.
you be holding it down though, bro. I ain't even gonna bullshit you. The only thing
Yeah,
that be tripping me out is
hey,
that
bro.
y'all go over there, man. You know how young bro is, man. As soon as y'all get off, he gonna drop you. I'm just saying, bro. Y'all gotta, man, be mindful of that shit, man, because it be good. But then, bam, you
Wait, you talking
go.
about? Wait, you talking about Daryl?
Yeah.
Oh no, he has my prey over there. So
Salute to
it'd be
the
too
homie
tempting.
Daryl Long.
It'd be way too tempting to not if my prey is roaming around the wilderness, bro, I gotta show up and give him that Dark Lake smoke, bro. My
Nah, for
appetite.
sure. Shout out to Young Bro, man. Daryl all day, man. That's Young
Shout
Bro.
out. What's
Yeah.
up?
Daryl Long was it's like the day one homie, man. He's always been supporting our channel. Never switched up, man. And that's what I love and respect about the Young King, man. So, people will tune in, man. Check his channel out, man. Show him some love. But what up, Dark Link, Dark Bandit Revive, however you want me to call you. Dark, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I was just listening to a little snippet of what you was just saying,
Mm-hmm.
And from the heart, I would say I agree with you, right? Like the thing you
Hard.
were just saying about listening to the manosphere and essentially understanding that it doesn't really implement or consider the nuances. Like when you get with a woman, like
Mm-hmm.
nobody is really worried about who's superior and who's inferior, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
gender roles just kind of come naturally, right? So
Mm-hmm.
from the heart, I agree with what you're saying. And I appreciate you letting me on the show, always letting me in your space. I appreciate it because I'm very conflicted about that very thing. That what you
Okay.
said is literally why I still call in the shows and why I'm starting my channel next year. Because what I don't like is like logic. Like men think a certain way, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there's logic, right? And so anytime we have some sort of complaint about the opposite sex, or we project the logic that we apply to the dating market, then it gets automatically put in the red pill manosphere category. And I don't think that's fair sometimes because a lot of it is just how men think. And then we are, for the first time within the past 8 years or so, projecting the way we think when we've had to listen to the way women think and what we should do for women for several decades, right? And I really feel that like some people just can't handle it because it's still like, even though we've had the Tommy Sotomayors and the Kevin Samuels and everybody,
Mm-hmm.
it's still like a new idea for a lot of people today to not just hear what a woman won't do for a man, to not just hear why men can't measure up, what kind of man that women are happy to reject in
Mm-hmm.
society. We're not just hearing that today. We're also hearing the type of women that men won't get with, the type of behaviors that we will accept from women, and the type of behaviors we won't accept from women. And I feel like a part, and this is the last part, a part of why there's so much pushback. Yes, I think you're right that there's a lot of dudes who hate women, and there's a lot of dudes red pill raging, right? However, it's like I I just feel like a part of the pushback is because we're black men. I just feel that way. That
Okay.
we're not supposed to have confidence. We're not supposed to have standards. We're not supposed to be outspoken about what we want and what we don't want. Oh no, that's only for non-black men. And that's the rhetoric that I push back against. And I could be wrong. I'm just trying to figure this out as I go on. If anything I said makes sense,
No, no,
that's
no,
what
no,
I'm
no.
applying to your
No, no, no.
statement.
It literally does make sense to what you're saying. And actually, like, sometimes like we think about it like as black men, but then it's like we tend to kind of like, as I says, what's the word I'm looking for? Passively like move that aside. It might not be the right word I'm saying at the moment, but you know what I mean. Like it's not like a conscious type of thought. You know what I mean? Subconsciously. So, and
Uh,
I think because like we're conditioned to pretty much like as black men to kind of like be strong, be assertive, be direct. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. And because we're used to that, it's like we're conditioned in that type of manner.
well,
So
I would have to slightly disagree with that.
okay.
Just in the sense to where I think it's more like this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for a long time, black men didn't have the station in life or the confidence to actually set boundaries, projecting an idea of how we respect ourselves. So throughout the 80s and the 70s, and the 90s, you had the situation where black men were basically talked down to by society and black women, not all black women, but you always had these Phil Donahue, Oprah, all these shows where these women would go on to shows and be like, this is why black men are like at the bottom. And this is why we should date outside our race. Right. And society was very prejudiced toward black men, especially in the early 90s. So there was like no leverage that black men had to say, wait a minute, I don't really like this strong and independent thing. I'm not going to accept it. And that's where I think the whole simp mentality was like cultivated within the black community amongst black men. And now it's a little different because we have updated stats on black man's progression in America. So a lot of the shit that was told were it's coming to find out were actual lies. Like Oprah was literally on a show talking to black men about maybe 3-4 months ago, saying that the stat that black men are deadbeat fathers was incorrect. That it actually showed that black men were the most involved fathers, and she literally had to admit this live on her show, right? So that's what I'm saying. I think that it's an explosion of black men projecting their self-respect pertaining to what they want in society because they haven't been able to do it in past times.
Oh, my bad. I forgot I was
What's up,
muted.
Mr. Best? Thank you for those that insight, Dark Bandit.
No, yeah, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, no
Well,
problem.
Dark
No, no,
Lake.
no. I can't speak on it. I'm not a black man, but someone who benefits off of you all, I would say, yeah, like you deserve all the flowers and the kindness and all of the platforms to express yourself. And I'm glad that we're in an age to, as turbulent as times are, have the ability to do just that. And I'm glad to be here with you guys. So when it comes to matters like that, I just don't have much to say. What's up, Mr. Best?
Salutes to like Mr. Best.
What's going on, family? Let me say this. I
Mhm.
understand what Dark Lake is definitely saying. Um, I will say this though. That mm, I think that a lot of times when it comes to black men, a lot of times we get a lot of these stereotypes of different things. But other men and other cultures do it too, if not anything worse, right? Especially if you look at like the Middle Eastern culture, right, or the Indian culture, and I may catch some flack for this, but whatever. But there is a underlying culture of them that likes to not just have women that they mess with, but they like to mess with other men. You know what I'm saying? So I think like, but it's always that what happens in society is that we always are deeming the black man or the black woman as the worst person in the world, right? So black women are bad and they do this, this, and the third, and the black men do this, that, and the third. It's like it's always a frisbee they toss back and forth to just cause division between the black man and the black woman. But yeah, if you look at other races, the pedophilia cases are higher. Um, the them messing around with not just the opposite sex but the same sex is even higher as well. You know what I'm saying? And we not in most cases we not doing no goofy stuff like that. Even though they try to portray it in social media that we are, but we not on that type of time. You know what I mean? Our people never really grew up like that. You know what I'm saying? Most of us grew up with like, what I mean, traditional man, it was a male and a female in the house. You know what I mean? It wasn't none of that, other community type stuff. And shout out to the other communities. I ain't got no problem with them. But it wasn't no LGBTQ plus A like that in our community. Especially if you grew up in the hood. You know what I mean? You knew it wasn't nothing like that. Or just any urban area where it was us primarily. We didn't have large numbers of that. That was the people on the other side that was doing that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, but they always want to portray that we were immoral. We have a high body count. All the men are in jail. All the women are whores. But this is what they want to put out in society all the time. So we either gonna fall for that or we're not. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the other races are doing the same thing, if not worse. You know what I mean? If you just look at the numbers or you just do your research, and that's it.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah. Dark Lake, I can't wait until like, you start like your YouTube channel because bro, like in all respects, man, like you definitely have a great mind. You really think deep and you go like beneath the surface. And we need to hear like, more people like you to actually like express and address like certain like issues like this. So
Well,
salute to
I
Mr.
really appreciate the compliment, bro. But to be honest with you, like great minds think alike. It's cliche, but it's true, right? So if we're in the same space, same vicinity, it means that you
Mhm.
have a great mind too, and everybody else here who can resonate with each other, whether you agree or disagree. You feel me? So
I say I try,
Man.
but thank you.
you don't know. I'm trying
Listen,
too.
listen, listen.
So we all try.
Well, you guys are some kings, okay? Let's not do that humble shit. Y'all are some motherfucking kings. And this is what I told my best friend. She's a gorgeous black woman who helps me in business and in my personal life. And I told her this. I said, "Man, we take everything from y'all. So if it seems like I'm kissing your ass, we'll just take it." Because like for real, like I'm raising a black king right now. What would be your advice to me, you all, in terms of disciplining him without just resulting to violence as I'm used to as a Samoan mom?
How old is your son?
4.
Oh, your son is 4. And are you raising him alone?
With the village, but the father is not in the picture.
In the village, is it only women or is it some men?
I have a disabled brother. I have who helps in I would say on a spiritual level, but can't do very much elsewise. And then I have some people in the church that I've been close to, but this is just a relationship we've established within a year. They happen to be black on purpose. There's the one of the best people I've ever met in this community, and so I sought their friendship. Aside from these 1, 2, 3 men and my brother, that's it.
Okay, here's what I'll say, and this is just my advice. I don't know your life personally, right? But I'm just gonna go off of my own experience and observations, right? To
Okay.
give you the best advice I can. So your son is black, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you say he's 4?
Yes.
Okay, here's what I'll say, because your question is specifically about the disciplinary aspect of raising him.
Right.
Here's what I'll say, right? And I'm just gonna provide a caveat before I say this, because I've always had an opinion about women raising boys. I don't think it's impossible, but there's certain, like, here's the thing: a boy will always love his mom. Unconditionally, will always love his mom, but subconsciously he'll never admit this. But on a subconscious level, when he gets to a certain age, it's not that he won't respect you when you try to discipline him. You could put fear into him. That's facts. However, when a man is within the household, there is a low level threat of violence that a man can incur on his son that the son is always aware of. There is a love/fear that most sons have of their fathers, even if their fathers happen to be less physically stronger than them.
Really.
Psychologically, we are always thinking that our dads can fuck us up. Like, it don't matter if they're disabled, whatever. Somehow, if you got a father, you dare not cross that line with them. You feel me? And so it's a kind of a different type of interaction that when your son grows up, he's gonna abide by what you say, but subconsciously he's gonna know that if he doesn't want to do it and you physically attempted to like stop him from doing whatever, he could literally physically stop you and do it anyway. He would never act on that, but he knows that's a possibility. With his father, it wouldn't be. So what I would say is this, right? Me and my younger brother was adopted. Me and my parents put us in karate, right? It was like a black dojo with a black sensei who had actually spent years studying ninjutsu, and it was in the black community in Los Angeles. And there was a lot of other kids in that karate class who essentially were raised by single moms, but whenever they would get out of line, guess who their moms would take them to?
The master.
Exactly. And there are a lot of different ways that, like, a karate instructor, and this is just one example, sports is another one, soccer coach, whatever.
Right.
But this is just one example, right? I'm just explaining to you what, like, this extracurricular activity could do for your 4-year-old kid as he ages pertaining to disciplinary. When he acts up, right? Don't be afraid to tell the sensei or to tell the master of the dojo, right? They will implement disciplinary um, aspects within that class specifically for your son, especially if you start to get to know the senseis and stuff like that. Because this is what I witnessed. My mom witnessed this with other kids when I was a kid in karate, right? And then naturally, like there's these things, and I know I'm going on a speech, but I'm about to end it here. There's these things called katas, right? Where it's like choreography for battle positions. And learning that choreography, the kata for different battle positions, like naturally instills a disciplinary aspect within the kid's mind because you know that you have to practice something for muscle memory in order to perform it right when you get graded at the end of the week for that kata. So if you put your son in some sort of extracurricular activity where there is like a hierarchy of men who care about the kids, you're not going to have to worry about any disciplinary tactics that you have to project onto him. And that's just my opinion and advice. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Thank you for that insight because it would annoy the shit out of me when I would hear mothers say, "You wait until daddy gets home," or "You wait until your dad." I'm going to tell your dad. I thought that that was like psychologically wrong. That was going against the grain or against the goal. So I do appreciate that insight because it's just opening up my mind because when it comes to the children, I will correct my anything. Speaking of accountability and the importance of it is like on some real shit. This is the most important relationship. So, thank you for that insight. We are pretty much exploring some definitely soccer and karate. It's just that I'm pretty much shopping. So I do thank you for that. You're absolutely correct.
Oh, and I tell you guys, I don't know about y'all, but like my dad used to always carry around these keys, right? And when he would be at work, every time he would walk, they would jingle. Like you would know he was coming. And if I acted up in the house, my mom would be like, "Hey, you keep doing that, I'm gonna tell your daddy." And if I did do it, and I knew she was gonna tell my dad, and at the front door I heard those keys jingling, man, that shit put me straight just to hear those fucking keys. So yeah.
Shit.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
I'm
you.
a,
That's what's
I'm gonna
up.
share. I'm gonna share it myself. I'm gonna say for me, my experience was different from y'all's, but because my mom was only about 5'2", 5'4", and she had me shook. My late great aunt Vaughn, may God rest her soul, had me shook. You know what I'm saying? And she was only like 5'2", 5'3". You know what I mean? So I think it's just what I mean it's just about adults. As I always say, adults need to rear children. Don't matter if it's a man or a woman. I don't really get into the whole gender shit. You know what I mean? Because kids just need balance, right? When you're a child, you need balance because you're impressionable. So you're a sponge. So everything you see around you affects you. You know what I mean? Salute to Marcus. Also salute to Information Man. I see y'all in the building. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Information Man show as well. You know what I mean? Show him some love. But um, but yeah, so I just need a balance. I just needed somebody to just, make sure I was doing what I needed to do. And if I wasn't, you know what I mean, there was consequences. Sometimes it was an ass whooping, sometimes it was a talk. You know what I mean? It just kind of depended on what it was. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? But everybody different though. You know what I'm saying? And I think, um, you know what I mean? I come from a different time and space. You know what I mean? And things were just different back when I was growing up. So, and parents could kind of do more than what they could do now because now you got a camera everywhere. So you may want to whip your child's ass, but you can't do it because the camera right there in your face. You know what I mean? So you
Word
can't really
up.
you can't, you can't really go in the
Yes.
way you want to go in. You feel me? So that's also
Especially
a
if you've
challenge.
had run-ins with CPS before.
Yeah.
Because let's just be real, CPS is not meant to really help. It's a government entity and there's money involved. You know what I mean? The whole premise is to keep the families away. So don't be judging me now, but fuck CPS.
No, I feel you, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna land my plane here. I think kids just need balance. They need love. They need somebody that believes in them, right? And every kid is different. Some kids you can tell them something once, they got it. Like you ain't gotta say nothing. Some kids you ain't even gotta say nothing at all. Like you just kind of got to show them something, and they just got it right. Hey, when you get up, put the toy box in the corner over here. They already got it. You know what I mean? And then they're already doing it. You're like, oh, okay, cool. All right, little Kevin got it. You know what I mean? I ain't got to say nothing to him. You know what I mean? But now Brenda, you may have to, you have to have some conversations with Brenda. You got to check up on Brenda. You got to kind of, you got to make sure she's doing what she got to do because she's going to slip or she's going to act like she don't know what she's doing or she's going to be playing games. She's going to be disobedient. So you got to watch her. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
some kids have learning disabilities, right? So some kids, what I mean, the way they learn or how they learn
No,
is
or
different, right?
neurodivergence.
Yeah, so you just got to be aware of that. So I would just say parents just got to be aware of that. You know what I mean? And then as a parent, I think one thing that I think parents got to do more of is just to be patient with themselves, right? Like you're not gonna get everything right as a parent off top. That's impossible. No parent always gets everything right off top. It is a process. It's gonna take you time to understand your child. It's a bond that you build over time. Even once they become an adult, you still building that bond. It just never ends, right? Until y'all just not here anymore. But or they not here no more. So that's the thing. Like, you know what I mean? You just got to continue to build that bond. And I think, as they're young, you know what I'm saying? Just, because to me, it don't matter like what race they are. It just matters like what you teach them. Now, the only reason race will matter is to kind of teach them about like racism or prejudice and stuff like that and how society views them, right? But that doesn't mean that you don't still teach them balance and still have them where they can learn and how to be and how to move and how to regulate in society. You know what I mean? Because if a child is not balanced, they're going to become an unbalanced teenager, which will allow them to become an unbalanced adult. And then that's definitely what you don't want. You know what I mean? So now they out in society and they just doing a whole bunch of other goofy shit. So, with that being said, like, you know what I mean? Just create that balance and that love for them, invest in what they like to do. You know what I'm saying? If they're into gaming or whatever they're into, if they like to draw, whatever they like to do, you know what I mean? Be invested in that. Even if you feel like it's boring or you don't understand it, invest in it. You know what I'm saying? So, because a kid, like I said, kids need somebody to believe in them as well, and they just need rules, discipline, and balance. You know what I mean? That's it, and love. You know what I mean? I know that's what I needed as a kid, and I feel like that's what most kids need. So yeah.
I appreciate
I like
that.
that. That's very well said.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
one thing I also want to urge parents to do is like if you're not in good graces or you don't really communicate with the other parent, um like just don't say any bad shit about them. Like believe me, I just urge you not to. And believe me, like I could say a lot of shit about my ex, so much. But I think it just when I would hear negative things as a child, I had to pretty much unlearn it as an adult because it didn't really serve me and it gave me a bad perception on certain things. It gave me certain lenses that did not serve me. And so that's my only advice in terms of parenting. Like I said, Samoans, we're taught to, it's like it's cultural. You get you get spanked, the belt, whatever, the closest object, and it's totally understandable. Like it's totally like acceptable, I should say. And so I'm living in a Western world though. You know what I'm saying? I'm Samoan, hell yeah. But I'm also a living in a Western world where I have to pretty much conform to these rules and regulations. So let me not be disillusioned just because it worked for my ancestors, it may not work for me. And I'm trying to find that balance because my son does have some neurodivergence going on, and I think that it would do a disservice to just result to beating his ass if he doesn't understand what's even going on. You feel me?
Right. Hey, can I ask you a question, Ruby? That's might be kind of unrelated, and I don't think like I strive to be intellectual and learn as much as possible. So what I'm gonna ask you is probably gonna sound like a stupid question, but I've never asked it out loud, even to Samoan people that I've met. It's just been in the back of my mind, and I just never said it.
Please do.
Okay,
Safe
you
space.
you ready for the big question? You're Samoan, right?
Hell yeah, to the bone.
Are are y'all black? or all y'all not black? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
So no, that's an excellent question. No, this is the thing. Okay, I believe that we all are from Africa. I've said it before. I've gotten shunned on before because some people argue that we're from the Asia, right? That the Asian settlers
Hmm.
settled in these little bits of islands. Therefore, so I think the reason why we can that we oh, and then another thing, thank you for my mind is going everywhere. The word meuli is a word that has been up for debate amongst my people very recently. Meuli literally means black thing.
Mm,
So ride with me on this. Since having my children, I don't say that. I say tangatoli. I say black person. I do not result because it's all subconscious, and it was the results of colonization that had us using these kinds of terms. You know what I'm saying?
right, right,
So
right.
also we know one thing that I do not like is when people from my community specifically talk down on or look down on the black community or Africa specifically. Why do I say that? Number one, we came, I don't know what year it was, but pretty much we took gang culture from y'all. We've adopted hip hop. I didn't say we take it. We adopted all these things and we benefit so much, even to where you're asking me a question because we probably look like cousins. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like I'm always saying this. If you're going to benefit off of these people, show them some flowers, show them some respect. Use better language. If you know that this colonizer word is really fucked up and then at the end of the day it's demeaning somebody, don't use it. Choose not to. And so I don't know the answer to your question, sir. All I can say is that I think in our own struggles, in our own colonized, situation, in our own dealings with the white man, and our own societal issues that we both share, we have been lumped in that category. I think that we have we uh, we are one, an intention, but I think my people have a lot to learn in terms of what real struggle is.
Oh,
Mm.
interesting.
I,
That that's
I would
very
agree with
interesting.
her. I would agree with her wholeheartedly because I think if you just look around the globe, you see traces of indigenous people everywhere from, what I mean, the Olmec statues to the pyramids. You know what I mean? It's just different things if you just do your research. It's not really hard to find. And because we all are indigenous tribal people. You know what I mean? Our customs are the same. And if you look at Africa, Africa performed, the way that, that if you go to Hawaii or you go to Samoa, you go to anywhere, and how they do a lot of the tribal dances and all that, that is derived from Africa. You know what I'm saying? You could just see it. It's not hard to tell. You know what I mean? The tribal tattoos and all that, that's from Africa. You know what I mean? And in Africa they do that. They have tribal tattoos. They'll either wear or they'll have tribal paint. You know what I'm saying? They'll do different things to symbolize who they are. You know what I'm saying? So and what tribe they belong to, what group they belong to. So that's something that's always been a part of our culture. You know what I'm saying? So we see somebody we
And it's like we need
oh
to be also, I'm so sorry, but we have to be real about the privilege, because I think that Samoan, when coaches see a Samoan kid, they're like football player. You know what I mean? There's certain privileges that we also share, but at the same time, it's like, don't be over here picking and choosing what you're going to take from these underserved communities. You know what I'm saying? And I think that there's a lot of highlight, even though there's one negative thing I heard about Samoan people is people said that we're dumb, we're slow, and we're dumb. Oh, the fuck what? No, we're not. We're geniuses. Some of us are just insecure as fuck. And we've been beaten down with Christianity.
All I know
Oh
is
Lord.
them
Mm.
Samoan tribal dances be amping me the fuck up. I'm not gonna lie.
Come on now.
I'll be like,
And I'm
hey,
just
y'all ever
gonna
watch that shit? You just want to get up and start like stomping and shit. Like that shit be firing me up.
shit, and you know what? And if Mr. Best is right about the tattooing origins, Samoans believe that the tattoo actually came from Samoa. If you Google it, tattoo comes from tatau, which means tattoo. And so it was told that there's like there's stories of two sisters that came from the Fijian Islands talking about melanated people. If you see people from Fiji, they're beautiful, beautiful, melanated, gorgeous. And so it's like, you know, we don't highlight, they're not highlighted. Why? Because they're highlighting all of the girls with the long straight hair in the coconut cups and the, you know, the dancing and stuff. And so yeah, that is all tribal. That I believe does come from a sacred source. I'm not, and I think that when you tap in, and we believe in mana being your spirit, we believe in that. I think that colonization has done a number on us, but all we need to do is just take it back to the basics. You feel me? And Samoans are not,
Mm.
we're very inclusive, tribe like.
You guys are also very wholesome and hospitable as well too. I mean, of course, we've been there firsthand with you guys as well too. And I mean, other like Samoans that we've encountered like in our past time as well too. It's like you guys have like okay, I'm trying to be careful like the way how I'm using my words right because I understand like a lot of people outside of like what we're talking about could easily be offended because they are heavily into the culture, but it's like how should I say this? It's like some people are heavily into the culture where maybe certain parts were colonized, and so it's like there's a separation to it, you know. Like let's say like you know the history of like okay the whole Asia thing, but then it's like you feel like we're more closer to African culture, and when I'm listening to that, I'm like okay, it does kind of make sense because some principles or some practicals right that you guys do and the Africans do is like heavily like similar, but then you have just that word itself, maybe like the Asia part, right? And I'm not diminishing it, but I'm saying it's like there's certain words or certain titles that they put, because I look at it as just titles that people put to pretty much separate us from being closer or being united, if that makes sense. Because I feel like the same way like you may have like some people may say well Rue you have a little bit of African features or M3 you have a little bit of like Samoan features or whatever, but I feel like at and like I said that's why I'm putting the feel part because I might not be accurate on what I'm saying, but it's just that what I'm feeling is like okay, I feel like when we go into our roots and then we merge it together, I feel more of a deeper connection with you guys as opposed to like what you'll normally hear from like a textbook on US history, if that makes sense.
Well, it's because our people, our tribe, we have that tribe feeling, and then we're big on the spirit that that connection. A lot of people don't know this, but Samoans did not read and write prior to colonization. All of the information was passed orally from the elders to the little to the young. And so it's just passed this information such as genealogy and all that. Also, there was a there is the Polynesian Panthers that were a break off from the under the guidance of the Black Panther movement because of all of the segregation or of the shit that we were experiencing at that time too. And I'm sure that we got mistaken and lumped in categories and stuff like that. But my thing is that it's important to know yourself and your history as far as you can, and then just make sure that you're consciously, while living in this matrix, like operating in a way that you realize that you know that it's not just about you. Like we're all in this together, and there should never be one more of the better than the other. And the reason why Samoans are so hospitable, honestly, it's not like we're hospitable. It's ingrained in us. There's certain things that you do when people come through. You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to be nice or nothing. This is how we operate. We clan up. We live in families. We help each other. It's when people come to America, they lose their damn minds. They start acting like these Americans. But it's always about the family.
Well, that's how I felt like, with African culture, Africa was always about families. It was always about like, you know, bigging up one person to the next. But then when you come to the United States, or if you born in the United States, all your culture, all your everything that was supposed to be good about you was already stripped, because now you're westernized and Americanized, and now you adapt into the American culture where it's like it's everyone for themselves. There's like no family values in the United States. Well, I'll probably say like this: back then, like in our fathers and grandfathers' times, or whatever, grandparents' times, they did try to adopt to like the family matters. You know what I mean? But eventually, all that starts, slowly dissipating. And so you really out there like alone, pretty much. And I'm not saying like you personally, Rue. I'm just saying like pretty much the majority of us, period.
Oh yeah, no,
Where we're in survival
that's the
mode.
feeling. That's the
Yeah,
feeling, most certainly. Yeah.
And that's the purpose. That's the dark purpose of the separation of families and all of that. And so, yeah, I got to get to these kids. It's been an amazing conversation. I got to
yeah. I know.
head
I got
out
to roll
though.
out as
It
well
really
too, man.
was. Hey,
Yes.
Ruby, it was nice meeting you. It really was great. It was great hearing your insight and just having like a very thought-provoking conversation. I'm actually going to do some research in the Polynesian panthers you were talking about, because I think there's a
Oh.
documentary on that. Yeah. So.
Oh, there is. There's a beautiful documentary. Shout out to the late Huey.
Newton.
Newton? Huey
Yeah,
Newton?
Huey P.
Excuse me.
Newton.
Yes, he actually is. He was who gave the okay. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, check it
Mm.
out. It's an amazing documentary. Polynesian people are amazing. Please do your research. I'm not dogging on my people. I'm just saying, if we gonna be here in America doing American things, let's be real and let's give credit where it's due. That's all I'm saying.
Love you, Rue.
Love you guys.
West.
Take
Yeah.
care.
And hey,
Bless.
bro, I actually got to bounce too, man.
Yeah,
Um.
yeah, yeah. We're cutting this off anyway, though. But thank you, man,
Oh,
for
okay.
tuning. Yeah,
Hey, I
appreciate
just
it,
want to
Dark
say it
Knight.
was a really great conversation. I love your show, man. Just keep going. And I'll let you know when I start my show, dude. I want you to be like one of the first guests on there. But I'm not gonna. Hey, it's gonna be some craziness and madness on my show, though. Like, so it might
Okay,
be
I'm too old for this, but yeah, I'm down. Hey, man, whatever you're down for, I'm down for it as well. So just let me
all
know.
right, bless, bro. Hey, you guys have a good day. Big Rig.
You
Peace.
do.
Yeah, yeah. Big Rigs, man. Thank you for pulling up, man. Much appreciated.
For sure, man.
Yeah, and hopefully, man, like we get like another episode of Easily Rigged, man.
Yeah, I talked to B-Eazy the other day, man. So he working on some things. So we're gonna get something going real soon, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So everybody's watching. Hey, stay tuned for the Easily Rigged show, man. They're gonna be coming back, man.
New and revised, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, for sure, man. Well, all right, Riggs, man. You have a good night, man. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this stream up.
For sure.
Everybody, thank you for tuning into like Knowledge Relationships. Much appreciated, guys. And man, you guys made the show great, man. I was thinking we was gonna have like a 1 hour live stream, but you know how it
Nah, I
be,
pulled up. I said, nah, man, we gonna rock out, man.
man. For sure. What up, Mr. Best?
What's going on? What's
I
going
know
on?
you was I know you was trying to say something, and then I think you got cut off or you left though. But is there anything you had wanted to say for a bit?
Oh no, I was I guess everybody had to drop off. Ruby Dawn and the rest of them had to drop off. But
Yeah.
but no, I was just agreeing with what she was saying. And I was gonna use a point of reference as far as Tariq Nasheed Hidden Colors, that documentary. That's a great point of reference for
Uh
what I'm talking about. If you just want to kind of find out about indigenous people, where everybody kind of come from, and just kind of like colonization and stuff like that,
huh.
and how it affected like the people around the world and all that. So that's a good point of reference. In fact, I actually need to, I actually watch these documentaries myself. But I know they're a very good point of reference just from my research. Um, so yeah, and I think there's about three or four hidden colors. Salute to Trail
Yeah,
Speaks.
salute,
You know what I
salute,
mean?
Sir Hell.
So I think it's about three or four documentaries Tariq Nasheed has out based on that. So yeah, check that out if y'all get a chance, man. Check that out. Like I said, I actually have to check it out myself. I think I'm gonna look at what streaming services is on or how I can find it. It shouldn't be hard for me to find because I have a lot of streaming services myself, so I'll just look it up. So yeah,
Okay, yeah, for sure. Then, all right, man. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. All right, man. Look, I'm about to go ahead and roll out, man. We're almost at the 2 hour mark, so and I gotta get ready for work. Oh, hold on. This man right here. Hold on, man. Let me pull him up real quick. What up, Marcus?
So how you guys doing?
Man, I know you ain't trying to pull up on the right when I'm about to close out too. What's up?
Eh,
Education and situationships.
What's up with everybody? How you guys doing?
Marcus
Pretty
doing
good.
that
what's good, Marcus?
bullshit.
I know, man. He did that
Yeah,
shit on purpose, though. I see you, though.
no, hey, I didn't know you guys. Cause let me know. I gotta remember it is a weekday, so I know you guys are gonna go work tomorrow and stuff. Um,
It's good, man. I mean, it's always good to see you, like, pull up, though.
yeah, I'm gonna do better though. I'm gonna make sure I'm not procrastinating, jumping at the last minute though.
Nah,
Um,
nah, you good, though, man. Well, look,
uh,
I'll say this, though, before we do wrap it up, man. Like, I'm for sure you probably tune in a little bit as far as, like, with accountability. Excuse me, accountability, but
just for
what
that
does
COVID.
accountability mean to you, Marcus? And then we'll
Uh,
end off like that.
no, well, accountability means you gotta look at yourself in the mirror first, yourself reflect, and see about your choices and see what how you're treating others, how you treat yourself. Don't take things for
Mhm.
granted. Um, and also try to look at both sides of the fence. I think that's a way of understanding how accountable you are and understand your choices have reactions. For every action is a reaction, you know. So I think that's one of the best ways to stay on your toes when you're accountable
Mhm.
and just like one of the best ways originally is being accountable for the choices, the actions you make. And you can't cry about it. If you do, then you never understood what it was to have the privilege to having that choice, that responsibility, that burden.
Okay. Respect, though. I like that, man. You know. Yeah, I mean, yeah. To sum up, man, it's just like look at yourself like as the man in the mirror, man. If and I'll use
And
that
hopefully
reference
for
to the
women
Michael
too,
Jackson song. What's that?
I said hopefully the same thing with women too. Like this man or woman, look at yourself
Right.
in the mirror, see what you're doing.
Yeah. One of the things that Dark Link did mention, right? Was it? I think it was a Dark Link. I think no, it was a Dark Link. It
Damn, you got
was
that many guests now? Damn, you can't even remember their names no more. See how famous you guys are?
no. But shout out to Waldo, right? Because yeah, he was like, man, having accountability partners, man. So, but out of respect, you know what I mean? Just the love of it, making sure that we're all holding each other down as a community. So, um, I think that was well said how he put it.
Yeah, and I did see some parts here and there. I was just like, I was in and out, but I just wanted to make sure I wanted to show my support to you guys, like always. When it comes to this whole uh, talks on panels about stuff like this and this worth and accountability and morals and values and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That all plays into account. So can't forget how you grew up, who raised you. Can't remember. You can't forget the people who actually rock with you and
Mhm.
loyalty and stuff like that. That's a good way of being accountable too and keeping yourself humble. A good way of keeping you accountable. And don't bite the hand that feeds you either.
Right. Yeah, definitely. All right, you guys, man. Now I'm about to go ahead and wrap it up, man. But Marcus, thank you for tuning in. Big Rigs, thank you for coming up. salute to you, Mr. Best Man. You know, and definitely, man, like, tune into, like, Easy Rig on Nice Relationships. Subscribe to, like, the intellectual, like, soapbox, especially, man, if you want to, like, really have, like, a lot of thought provoking conversations. Definitely subscribe to, like, the homies channel. And Marcus, again, thank you for your support, man. Junior ranking, bro, almost a
Yeah.
senior.
Yeah, I'm
This,
fucking
this
super
boy about
senior
the
now.
verge rating.
I'm a super senior.
All right, everybody, man. Have a good night, man. We out.
Salute.
Yep.
Knowledge and relationships.